Vamos a hablar del futuro de la energía. Le vamos a dar la bienvenida desde la virtualidad a Alex Laplaza, partner en Lowercarbon Capital.
Hi, Alex.
Alex.
Todos, buenos días, everyone.
Welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Thank you.
Let's keep it in English. Is that okay for you?
Perfecto. Yes.
Or you want to switch to Spanish?
No, English is much better.
English is better. Yeah, great.
Yeah,
well,
I'd
Alex
probably
is...
be very proud of me if I could pull it off in Spanish, but...
No, let's keep it in English. Alex has some background. He's from Spain originally, but he has been too much time in US, so he lost his Spanish a little bit. I will try to speak less, so you can not hear me, I hear Alex. Alex is the managing partner at a very particular fund called Lowercarbon Capital that is founded and managed by a very particular guy also, Chris Sacca, that they have a very particular, again, claim about what we should do about our relationship with nature as a human species and how technology can change that. So, Alex, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Lowercarbon Capital, your claim, and what are you looking to do with your funds and your investments?
Yeah, happy to. Thanks for having me. Our tagline is that Lowercarbon Capital backs kick-ass companies that make real money slashing CO2 emissions, sucking carbon out of the sky, and buying us time to unfuck the planet. So another way of saying that is we invest in technologies and solutions to reduce and remove greenhouse gas emissions at scale. And a third part of that is, in addition to carbon removal and reduction, is buying time, investing in climate adaptation solutions to increase the resilience of communities and ecosystems on the front lines of climate change. So we're an early stage fund. We like to be the first check-in and like to invest throughout the life cycle of the company as they scale to exits and beyond.
Two things. First, why is that important? I think and how do you think that venture capital why venture capital is one of the tools to really push forward this? And everyone here are friends in the audience, so you can tell what the website says about the planet and what you are doing with the planet.
Yeah, why venture capital? I think as the past few decades suggest, venture capital is a very effective means of scaling solutions very rapidly and to pretty massive scales. And with the climate crisis, it's here today. As I sit here in New York City is the worst air quality in the world because of wildfires, smoke that's coming hundreds of miles away from Canada. So it's here, it's touching every part of the planet. So we really have no time to start implementing and scaling solutions, and venture capital is a means of doing that. The other part of that I'd say is because venture capital is just a good means of investing in risky technologies, and in many cases, the solutions in climate are fundamentally novel science breakthroughs that are risky and need risk tolerant investors and risk tolerant capital to scale them and to support them.
Can you remember what's the size of your last fund? How much money from your LPs are planning to deploy the next few years in this thesis?
Yeah, since 2020, we've raised over $2 billion for early stage climate companies. So it's been quite a jump quite quickly. But that's divided into a number of funds. The lion's share being general climate technologies and solutions around the world globally, in any sector, industry, and technology. Quite agnostic there, but two specific vehicles, one dedicated to carbon removal, so negative emissions, permanent, durable carbon removal, and the second being nuclear fusion.
And what are you excited about? And because it's obvious right now that we need to change how we relate with nature as a society and humanity. And what are the most impressive startups or entrepreneurs you're seeing right now?
Yeah, generally, Lowercarbon exists to back technologies and solutions that scale out of pure self-interest because they exist in their own right, not because they exist for people to feel good or feel better about themselves or because they care about the planet. We love finding technologies and solutions that consumers, that industries will buy and adopt because it just makes pure economic, rational sense to. So because the product is the same substitute product that they're using today, but the clean version is cheaper, better, faster, just more performative, because we think that self-interest scales. You know, the total addressable markets here are the 8 billion people on the planet that want to eat food and want to use electricity and drive a car. And so we can't rely on these 8 billion people to buy products that are more expensive out of the goodness of their hearts. We're relying on them to buy clean products because they are cheaper, better. Specifically, we love solutions in kind of these large, massive industries like cement and steel and chemicals and mining, those that really have a massive impact on the planet, but in effect are opportunities to really move the needle on climate and sustainability.
Thanks.
Alex, hi, Desiree here from Argentina, saying hi, first of all. Alex, I feel
Hey.
like VCs and investors in general are a bit like magicians because you kind of help entrepreneurs and startups make their dreams come true, and in so doing, you also help them make the world a better place, especially when we talk about deep tech and the solutions that have big impact. My question is from a Latin American perspective. So I want to know if you have already invested or you are planning to invest in a company here in Latin America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very bullish for the opportunities for climate tech in LATAM. We've invested in 3 companies to date in LATAM, 2 in Brazil, 1 in Mexico, and there are a number of companies that are scaling in LATAM as their primary market. The examples being a company in mining operating in Chile and Argentina. The reason I'm so excited about climate and LATAM is because I think LATAM has a natural advantage relative to the rest of the world in that the largest sectors and industries and businesses in Latin America are largely already climate companies. We just don't often think of them as such. You know, some of these sectors and industries include agriculture, mining, chemicals. Like these are the largest sectors today, and there are massive opportunities. There's lots of low-hanging fruit within each of these to make it more sustainable. And in doing so, it's just, as I was saying earlier, it's just pure self-interest, right? Anytime you can make these industries or sectors more efficient, that's good for the planet, but that's also just good for businesses' bottom lines. In these cases, efficiency and sustainability are largely synonymous. It's doing more with less. And so there are opportunities across the board in LATAM that I think are there that aren't there in many other sectors. The other thing I'd say is there's just the natural advantage in the geography, really, the natural abundance that LATAM has to lead the world in a number of the key inputs to global decarbonization, but in doing so in a way that's sustainable, not distractive, that's more circular. The company I was referring to that is operating in Chile and Argentina is called Lilac Solutions. They're doing lithium mining, but doing so in a way that is 99% less water, 99% less land and CO2 emissions. And so it's a way of allowing local communities to leverage their natural resources and richness without decimating their ecosystems and in effect their communities. So there's a lot of opportunities like that across the board in LATAM that I get really excited about.
Just last question, would you like to share any advice for investors and entrepreneurs?
Just general advice building in the climate space, I would say, is really be unreasonably ambitious. Don't be afraid to go for the really hard problems, the really big swings at the climate challenge. Because often if you can build a solution in that space, even if it's a more marginal solution, but you're going after a really big problem, you can create a lot of value. And there are other benefits towards it. In particular, if you have an important mission, it's much easier for you to attract talent. The talent that you do attract is often far harder working because they have an underlying motivation beyond just their day job. So don't be afraid to go up to the big swings. I would say in LATAM in particular, There's no shortage of technical talent that can work in climate. Often they're working elsewhere. And I'd say is just look to climate as a place, not just to feel good about yourself, but actually create a lot of value and make a lot of money applying your skills and your expertise.
Thank you very much.
That's great, Alex. Thank you for sharing this time with us, and let's give a